Elder Scrolls Online's Wolfhunter DLC is coming soon and was released on the public test server just a few days ago. In addition, ZeniMax has released patch notes for this test version of the game, which gives us some insight into things to come. Let's dig into these a bit and see what veteran players can look forward to. If you've ever wanted to try playing a werewolf, now is the time. The first thing we'll cover here is the two new dungeons added, Moonhunter Keep and March of Sacrifices. Located in Reaper's March and Greenshade, these two new dungeons are very heavily werewolf themed. The Moonhunter Keep was once the Colovian headquarters of the Order of the Silver Dawn, a group of peerless werewolf hunters found in western Tamriel. It was destroyed by the ancient werewolf Vicosa, who then took up residence at the estate. And the March of Sacrifices is a section of the hunting grounds where mortals compete in teams for a boon from Hircine. It's a deep ravine surrounded by impassable mountains and populated with the most ferocious creatures of Hircine's realm. With these new dungeons, of course, come brand new sets, including monster helms, so let's have a look at what these are. Many of these sets are very good. Moonhunter gives a ton of spell damage and could be kept up nearly 100% of the time in many situations. Jailer's Tenacity is an excellent tanking set, and might have some implications in PvP as well for certain builds. Vicosa is an intriguing set because it allows for situational debuffing of hard-hitting bosses. And lastly, Savage Werewolf and Blood Moon are solid stamina sets that work particularly well with werewolves, and this leads us to our next section. Leveling and maintaining your werewolf is now considerably easier because the Devour passive is now granted automatically from the start, so you can sustain the form better at lower levels before you've unlocked all the other skills. Also, experience required to morph werewolf skills has been significantly reduced, and if you've ever tried to play a werewolf before, then you know that was a huge change. Leveling werewolf skills was frankly a pain in the ass. You'll also be able to perform many more types of actions while transformed, and there have been a few other major changes which I will list here. You can now resurrect other players while transformed. You can now use synergy abilities while transformed. You can now use siege weapons while transformed. Your werewolf timer will no longer tick down while you're reviving in place while transformed. This ability and its morphs no longer increase your movement speed and your spell and physical resistance as a baseline effect. These bonuses have been moved to passive abilities in the skill line itself. Werewolf skills. Blood Rage. This ability now increases the timer of your werewolf transformation when you deal damage rather than when you take it. It adds 2 and 4 seconds to your timer with a 5-second cooldown. Devourer. This is now the first passive you unlock in the skill line and is a free passive that does not require you to spend a skill point. Points already spent in this will be automatically refunded. The Devour Corpse ability is now a 4-second channel instead of a 4-second cast time. Every second you spend devouring a corpse increases your werewolf timer and restores health. Each corpse can be devoured for up to 4 seconds. Hircine's Bounty. This ability and its morphs now heal based on your max health. Hircine's Bounty and Hircine's Rage heal you for 45% of your max health, while Hircine's Fortitude heals you for 60% of your max health. Hircine's Rage now grants Major Brutality for 20 seconds. Piercing Howl. This ability and its morphs no longer stun the target. Decrease the cost of this ability and its morphs to 3,510 stamina from 4,050. Howl of Despair now grants the ally in power for all light attacks for 5 seconds. Previously, it granted 10% more light and heavy attack damage for 15 seconds. Pounce. This ability and its morphs no longer stun the target if they were already set off balance. Pursuit. This ability now increases your movement speed by 15 and 30%. Roar. This ability and its morphs are now instant cast, previously 1 second. Now fears up to 6 targets instead of 3 targets. This ability and the Rousing Roar morph no longer set enemies off balance. Ferocious Roar now sets feared targets off balance. Rousing Roar has been renamed to Deafening Roar and now applies Major Fracture for 10 seconds to feared targets, reducing their physical armor by 5,280. Savage Strength. This ability now also increases your spell and physical resistance by 5,000 and 10,000. You can see from the changes that it will not only be easier to level up your werewolf, but also play it. Being able to fear 6 enemies at once is almost game-breaking in PvP, making it the single most effective CC in Cyrodiil, and that's before you consider the Major Fracture. Hircine's Bounty will also heal for much more health than before, giving werewolves more survivability, which helps to shore up their 2 biggest weaknesses. The other is that they generally have no way to clear snares and defiling effects, which brings us to the next section. Many abilities that snare or defile its target have been nerfed in some form or another. I won't list them all here, but some great examples are the following. Clearly, these changes were made to further facilitate werewolf gameplay, however, I don't like the direction it is taking PvP. We are rapidly approaching the point where all that matters is dealing damage as fast as you can, and there is no real need to debuff your target. I hope in the future they add some sort of other debuffs to compensate for this nerfage. Battlegrounds. In addition to one new Battlegrounds map, Isteris, that allows players to mount for the first time, new Battlegrounds outfits have been added to the game. Now when you complete a Battleground, you have a chance to obtain an outfit style for the Pit Demons, Stormlords, and Fire Drake's unique armor appearances. The chance of obtaining an outfit style is based on how well your team performed in the Battleground. Victors have a much higher chance to obtain an outfit style than do second place finishers, and second place finishers have a much better chance than do third place finishers. However, even teams coming in dead last have a small chance to obtain an outfit style. The medals you obtain do not affect your chances at all, so you don't have to be fancy, just try to be victorious. Placing on the leaderboards for Battlegrounds also has a very good chance to award an outfit style for each of the 3 teams' armor visuals. Pit Demons outfit styles are obtained by completing deathmatch games, Stormlord's outfit styles are obtained by completing flag games, capture the relic Chaos Ball, Fire Drake's outfit styles are obtained by completing land grabs, Domination, and Crazy King. Cyrodiil. ZeniMax has added a new method of navigating Cyrodiil called Keep Recall Stones. These are a new item you use from your inventory or quick swap wheel to recall to keeps or outposts. They can be purchased for 20,000 AP or earned from rewards of the worthy. However, there are several restrictions in place to use these items. You cannot recall to a structure that is under attack. You cannot recall to a structure while standing inside the region of a keep, resource, outpost, or town. You cannot use a recall stone while actively in combat. Recall stones can be used while in caves of Cyrodiil, but not in the Imperial City. Recall stones are account bound, so they can be banked but not traded to other players. You cannot use a recall stone while carrying an Elder Scroll. Because of the high cost of these stones and the fact they only affect one player, unlike camps, I don't see these making a huge impact in Cyrodiil. However, there is some potential for well-organized groups who play often and have a lot of AP to spare to abuse these to defend their keeps easily. This could result in very lopsided campaigns where one faction has more well-organized PvP guilds. Keeps in Cyrodiil have been tweaked so that they are further impacted by the resources around them, lumber mills, farms, and mines. Keeps now have 2 levels per resource material instead of 5. Resources now have 1 level for defensive upgrades and 1 level for production upgrades. Resources will now go from level 0 to 1 in about 10 minutes. A keep will now gain its level slower from a level 0 resource, but much faster from a level 1 resource. Prior upgrades, which were spread out across 5 levels, have been compressed into 2 levels for keeps and 1 level for resources, but the overall strength of each upgrade at maximum level remains the same. Keeps once again have degrade turned back on. However, the degrade rate is much faster. A keep can lose a resource level in about 5 minutes instead of an hour. What this means is that resources will once again have a significant impact on the level of each keep, and holding resources is more crucial to defending a keep. Keeps will be the same difficulty as before when at max level, but now reducing it 1 level will hurt much more than before. Now this may seem like a bad change because keeps are already so easy to take, however all siege weapons will be more effective against players in champion-enabled campaigns as of Update 19. Quality of life respec change. Activating respec mode no longer clears all your points, but instead allows you to add and remove points from your abilities. You still have the option to remove all points if you want a fresh start, though. This is a great change and one that should allow players to play with their skills more often and see what they really like without breaking their banks. Welkynar Motif. The Welkynar Motif is now available from the Cloud Rest trial. Unfortunately, in an effort to make the game even more grindy, you will only get Motif chapter fragments now instead of motifs, so you'll have to complete the trial multiple times on Veteran just to get 1 chapter. Housing. 2 new homes have been added, Hunter's Glade and Grand Sijic Villa. Both are huge and should tempt players into purchasing if they can spare the crowns. Champion points. The champion point cap has been raised by a total of 30 points for a total of 780 champion points. The champion point experience curve has been automatically adjusted with this new cap, so that earlier champion points require less experience and can be earned faster. Jewelry crafting. ZeniMax dramatically improved the value of artifact quality jewelry crafting master writs, and significantly increased the value of legendary quality jewelry crafting master writs in terms of their writ voucher payouts. All jewelry crafting writs received in the future will see this increase, but this change will not impact any jewelry crafting master writs already present in-game. Activity Finder. You can now only select 1 role when queuing through Activity Finder, and it will display next to party frames. This change was made for a few reasons. Most importantly, it streamlines the queuing system so groups can be created faster. It's also an effort to address the issue where players would queue as multiple roles and get assigned the role they just can't do, leading to bad group experiences. Final thoughts. Overall, these are some intriguing changes to the game, and being a werewolf and having made a few guides regarding just that subject, I'm excited that us wolves will finally be relevant in a significant capacity. I don't expect it to last forever though, so I suggest if you've ever wanted to be a werewolf, or if you've ever tried it before but couldn't play as well as you'd like, then perhaps now is the time to try again. There were no significant class changes except Templars, which are having their Jesus beam buffed, and their rune focus buffed. Man, it feels good to be a Templar werewolf. Stay tuned because I'm going to be doing some testing to see which sets work best on PTS with the new werewolf changes and get some comparisons.